Hey, what's going on, guys? Wes here with Grady Space. Today I have two new additions to my gallery that I want to show you guys. I've got two ninja tips that I want to show you guys that'll help you as you're researching players and trying to get them added to your gallery. And then I've got one personal story about why I love SoRare and the SoRare community. All right. So, and as we can see here on the homepage, they've added AC Milan as a new team, as well as a couple others that they added previously this week. So I think it's really cool to see the platform continuing to grow and expand and add new teams. Would love to get my hands on a Zlatan card, but that's probably not going to happen. That's okay though. So let's check out my gallery and see these new guys I added. It is Lucas Cavallini and Chris Mavinga, staying with my new form of focusing on MLS right now, because that's where I'm the most knowledgeable and have done all my research. So really excited to get these two guys added, a forward and a defender. All right. While I'm here on this page, I want to go ahead and tell you what one of my tricks is. So Lucas Cavallini, I picked him up at 0.205. There were two cards listed on the secondary market at 0.225. So a little bit less than 10% more than this. The trick is, as you're bidding on the auction platform, the bids go up by 10% each time. So that's why when you're down in 0.04, you can go to 0.05, 0.06, 0.07. But once you start getting higher and higher, you have to start adding, 0.02, 0.04, whatever it is, depending, it's 10% more than the current bid. So by doing this, what I did is, if someone wanted to bid more than me on this card, they would have to bid 0.23, which was 0.05 more than the secondary market. So they could have outbid me, but it would have been cheaper for them to just go buy a card on the secondary market. So unless they just, really wanted to win on auction, which if that happens, then so be it. But by doing this right, I position myself in the best way possible, so that, no one would want to outbid me just for value's sake. So that's one of the tricks. And, it hasn't worked for me every time. Sometimes people just want to bid on auction, or maybe they don't know that a card's on the secondary market, but it kind of positions yourself to where I saved 0.02 ETH right here, which, for me, great. That's $40 that I can put towards something else, or towards another player like Chris Mavinga. So anyways, taking a look at him though in here, Lucas Cavallini, I'll tell you a little bit about him because he isn't someone I've talked about much on the channel. One thing I like right off the bat is his last 15 is higher than his last 5. I care more about the last 15 than the last 5. And I think, most people probably look at the last 5 more frequently, whether that's because of the new little graphic they put here where they show it, or just in general, they're looking at how did they do most recently, that's what's top of mind for them. But last 15 is going to, I think, give a better picture of kind of what the player is as a whole and what you can expect more frequently moving forward. So last 15 is higher, which I like to see. But also, last year was his first year in the MLS. So it was a weird year for everybody. He was coming from South America, moved up to Canada, where he was playing for Vancouver. And I think, I don't think he's going to have a worse year than that. I think, everything's looking up for him. He's a high-quality player. He was a really big signing for the Vancouver Whitecaps. So I think, they're expecting big things from him this year. He's a true number 9. He's going to have a lot of goal-scoring opportunities. And I think that, he's primed to have a good year. So really excited for him. He's going to be probably my number 1 forward kind of heading into the year. Okay, and then the other guy that I had is Chris Mavinga. So let's pull him up real quick. Really excited about this guy. He's going to be my Global All-Star D4 defender. Because, just look at this. This is just beautiful consistency, right? He's in that 50 to 70 point range every week. Last year he was an MVP candidate playing defense for Toronto, and he's pretty cheap. So I picked him up at 0.103. You can still get him probably really close to that. I think there's some auctions going on now. So an auction ending in 10 minutes has him at 118. He just finished at 115, 099, 110. So I think he's a really good target. Really glad that I was able to pick up a copy of his. And again, that last 15, that's the trick, right? So the second trick, so the first one I mentioned, right, was the bidding, trying to stay just over 10% less than that next lowest price on the secondary market. for this one, look at the last 15 because that's going to give you kind of the big picture of how they do over the long span. So 53, that means he did better over a 15-game average than he did over a 5-game average. And, since he had 49 in his last 5, that means his, the 5 before that, he may have been at 58 to make that average of 53, or whatever it may be, right? But you get the picture. So the last 5 doesn't tell the whole story. He's got a lot of scores up here that, bring his last 15 average to 53. So really excited to have a copy of his. I think he's going to be a locked-in starter for me. Help me win a lot of ETH in the All-Stars Division 4. All right, and the last thing I want to talk about is my kind of personal story about why I love SoRare and the SoRare community. So when I was looking for a copy of Mavinga, I went on the secondary market. Someone had him listed at 0.11. I shot him an offer of 0.103 on the SoRare platform. And then I went into Discord and I just shot him a message and said, hey, I sent you a message, or I sent you an offer for 0.103 on Mavinga. Does that work for you? If not, no worries. Because, the offers can just kind of come through, as anybody knows who has listed cards on SoRare. And you get some ridiculous ones. But I just wanted to send a personal message with it, just, introduce myself and say hi. And the guy came back and was, super nice, said, yeah, sure, 103 is a fair offer. I'll accept it now. He said, I have 2 copies of Mavinga actually, so we'll be cheering for him together this year. And, it's just like, cool, that's awesome. Yeah, we'll have that in common. And then he said, Mavinga actually played in my hometown, which is in France. He lives in France. So Mavinga spent a period of time over there playing at the club from his hometown. So he had a personal connection to him, and he sold me a copy of him, which is just awesome. I just think that's such a cool aspect of the game. I love international travel. I love just kind of the global world that we're living in today, where it's so easy to communicate and get around. I just think, there's so much that different cultures have that everyone can learn from. And I just think that's really cool. I spent some time in France, actually, before I did my study abroad trip that I did while I was in school in Italy. And, that's actually where I met my wife, was studying abroad in Italy. So we kind of have that tie and that love of international travel that we share together as part of our love story. So I just think, that kind of tied in with sports and soccer, it's just the beautiful international game. So seeing that kind of manifest itself in SoRare was just something that I thought was really cool and just made me, have that much even stronger of a connection to the platform. So was just really excited. Thought that was a really cool story. Wanted to share it with you guys as we're on our international break, quite fittingly, I guess. So yeah, hope you guys are all doing well, staying safe, and have a great weekend with no games. Hopefully you can get out, enjoy the weather. I know here in Nashville, Tennessee, it's beautiful. So the wife and I will be taking our dogs out and playing with them, going for some walks. So hopefully you guys can enjoy the outside yourselves. And until next time, more videos coming next week. I will talk to you guys later.